Nick will cover the latest market trends, whether they're rising or falling. Stick around to hear about trade ideas, latest news, and much more. Remember that trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Today's stream is made possible by our partners and sponsors. If you're looking for a new broker, trying to get funded, or looking for a trading community to join, consider checking out the links in the description below. By using these links, you'll get access to great products and be supporting the channel. And now it's time for Live in the Markets with Trader Nick.
3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. Wow, I'd love to get in on this. Technical insights that really look good to me. Here we go. We're live. Good morning, you guys, and welcome back to another live stream. Thank you for being here. We've got some very serious stuff to jump into. We have news starting in just a little bit here. We have the US PPI numbers coming out. This is a inflation measurement. As you probably know by now, that falls under the category of red folder with everything going on. CPI, PPI, anything that has to do with inflation is, of course, going to be a very impactful thing to the US markets as well as to the global markets, whether you're trading currencies that involve the dollar, whether you're trading commodities like gold, whether you're trading things like the S&P 500. It's all impacted by these major figures. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. What's up, Jay? Shakalin, hopefully I said that right. Shakalin, thank you for being here. Sachin, Samson, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here. So let me just paint a little picture of what we're going to do here in the stream, and then we're going to jump into some charts, and we're going to talk about some ideas and things that we are looking at for the day ahead. Okay, so number one thing is today we have PPI numbers. PPI numbers, what we'll do here is I'll show you guys a little bit of why this matters. Let me just get everything running on the stream. I'm doing this by myself today. PPI numbers. So what is it and why does it matter? Let me zoom in so you guys can see this here. We can take a look at this together. So what is this? Well, it measures the change in price of finished goods and services sold by producers. The usual effect is that a higher PPI number is essentially better than a lower number for the currency, at least. Now, not necessarily for what it means for the economy, but anyways, we'll continue on. Why do traders care about this? Well, it's a leading indicator of a consumer inflation. And when producers charge more for goods and services, the higher costs are usually passed on to the consumer. So it's basically understanding what producers are spending in their process. What are their expenses looking like? Because if those are higher, that can be an early sign of higher levels of inflation. Today, going into the news, we have a forecast of 0.8%, and the actual number will be coming out at 8:30 a.m. US Eastern. That gives us some time here, gives us about 30 minutes together to take a look at some charts and see if there's anything of interest prior to the actual news event. Real quick, if you're tuned into the stream and you're enjoying it, help me out, smash the thumbs up button. Let's get into some charts. And again, run the like button up for me. It helps out just to get the stream noticed on YouTube a little bit more so we get some more people in here. We can get things rolling. So with that said, let's look at some pairs. What are we going to focus on? Well, we're going to look mostly at the dollar pairs here going into this. Of course, USD PPI numbers are going to impact the dollar. And this is an interesting spot to start because look at what the dollar is doing here this morning. You can see the dollar has been flying high to the moon, very, very strong, and just an incredible overall push to the upside. So when we look at this, we say, okay, well, what's the dollar going to do next? Well, I can't really short it because, again, it's on a runaway train. And if we look at the daily chart here from a technical analysis perspective, the US dollar has officially broken and held above the previous structure high. And the reason that that matters is look at what's happening here intraday, you guys. We came back and retest that same area and immediately found buying support. Right now, optimism is for the upside for the dollar bulls. Now, of course, a strengthening dollar is not necessarily an optimistic thing. What it usually means, in this case especially, is that inflation is very high. People are expecting the Fed to rate hike potentially by up to 75 basis points this Wednesday. And that has a lot of fear concerns for other markets like the S&P 500, stocks are taking a dive, etc. Now, for us as traders, how can we take advantage of this? Well, the dollar is in a strong upward trend. Until further notice, we are looking for dollar long biased setups. Now, when we look at the DXY and we see the break above on this candle, that's a very big deal for the bulls. We were able to close outside of the previous levels of resistance. So where do we go here, and what's the setup for today? We're going to take a look at a few markets together, some of which are going to be maybe GU. We'll look at EU together, and maybe UJ. And then maybe we'll look at XAUUSD as well. So we've got a lot of different things to look at. If you do have a chart that you would like to see, please comment it. If I don't get to it and you really want to see it, you can also drop a super chat and let me know which thing you would like me to look at. This is how our little new donations method works. If you have a chart that you want me to look at, you can drop a donation. And also, if you drop a donation of $5 to $20 to support the stream, you get to go up on the board. And being up on the board is just a special thank you. And it also will enter you into the raffle for anything free from our store. So it's just an extra perk. But again, big thank you to everybody who has already been up on the board for supporting the stream. Thanks so much. Okay, so right now, specifically, I'll read off some names for you. We got Dre on the board. We got Gage, Daniel Jetter, Joseph Chai. So again, thank you to you guys for supporting the stream so much. Thanks. So let's look at some of those pairs that we just mentioned. And I would like to start with Euro USD going into this news. Again, we have about 30 minutes here prior to the news actually hitting the floor. So it gives us some time to look at some ideas and setups prior to it. Vishal, please don't spam the chat. I'm not going to be looking at Bitcoin here. And if you spam the chat, it's definitely not going to make me do it then either. It also makes it hard for me to read other people's messages. Dollar CAD, US 100, EU, US 100. Okay. Yeah. Cool. What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here, by the way. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. And let's take a look at some pairs together. So I wanted to look at Euro USD first, and maybe just a quick look at the daily chart tells us mostly what I think we need to see. I think that the euro dollar is probably headed back down to the previous low. The dollar is really strong right now. And as long as that stays the case, I think it's a pretty good shot that we could see a move down to 1.035. Now from there, will it break lower? Well, we'll have to see. But here's a big thing, right? For the day traders out there, we are swinging back up. Is there an opportunity to short the Euro USD on a pullback? There's not like a major level of structure that I really see on this pair until you start getting up to levels like this, which is specifically 1.054, and then potentially levels like this area up here. So really, we're kind of far away from a pullback play. The scenario that I would like if I'm looking at Euro USD is to watch to see if we can get a break of the previous low, and potentially trading for the intraday traders. If we come down to a level like this and we break and retest that, there could be a short-term opportunity for the day traders out there. So yeah, I am live. Yes, it's early morning for me, but we are taking a look at PPI numbers this morning, watching the reaction and seeing what's going on. So yeah. Let's look around. Let's look at Euro USD a little bit more here. So we have a break underneath structure, which is, or if we start to see a break underneath structure, that could be an interesting spot. But really, it's this previous low. Can we break the previous low? Something like this, breaks, retests, Maybe the intraday traders could get a hold of that, and you could be looking to possibly short retests if that's within your strategy. But for me, Euro USD is a short bias. I think we are probably headed back down to the previous low with all of this US dollar strength coming into today. Now, here's the thing, right? The PPI numbers are big today, but they're not the only thing. We have tomorrow, we have even bigger news. We have the Fed meeting. And so, of course, a Fed meeting is going to be taking priority there. Did you do a video yesterday? I did one last night, actually. I'm really off on my schedule this week. I've been just covering all this craziness that we've got going on. This week is full of red folders on forexfactory.com. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, we'll continue on. We'll take a look at GBP USD here and see what's going on. And look at this, you guys. The pound USD is just really, really sell heavy. Let's actually look at a 30-minute chart and just talk momentum here for a second. So I actually don't even hate the idea of potentially shorting on a retest on GBP USD, just going with momentum here. I mean, this thing is flying to the downside. And if we get a pop on PPI numbers here this morning, prior to the Fed meeting on Wednesday, to me, I would be willing to take that risk reward. I think that that could give you a good opportunity to sell the pound against the dollar. Again, this is a 30-minute chart, so more of an intraday sort of idea. But something like this, if you get a retest of that on perhaps a pop on the news, I think you get some really good risk reward prior to the news tomorrow. So that's what I'm looking at, pound USD. Very, very intrigued by a potential retest of structure here for sells in this area right around 1.2130. So we'll watch that area going into the news, of course. That is just one idea on GBP USD. Again, what we saw here is if you take a look left, we had a lot of hold here from the bulls previously. A lot of buyers came in, but then on this candle right here, that showed us most of what we need to know, at least from a price action standpoint. This is going lower. We saw a big swing to the downside. So now, as we look at this morning, we come up and we pick up the pieces and we say, okay, well, where's the trade here? For me, it's a pullback up into that same area where we got so much rejection from the bears. And we say, okay, risk reward there looks pretty dang good for more downside on GBP USD. Pound dollar also falls under a category of sell based on our EdgeFinder market scanner. So if you take a look at this, it's actually the lowest on the list with a -7, scoring low in almost all categories. If we take a look at pound USD specifically, we'll pull this one up so you guys can see it. And again, just a reminder for those of you who are just tuning into the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, help to support. I'm going to see how many likes are we at on the stream. Help me run up the like button if you guys don't mind. That would be much appreciated. But just a reminder, we have PPI numbers coming out. It's expected to be 0.8%. We've got those numbers coming out in about 20 minutes, and we're going to be watching the reaction here live to see if there's any spike and potential trading opportunities within that. So yeah, we'll be talking about gold. We'll take a look at some dollar yen, pound dollar, some other pairs here. We just got done speaking about pound USD. So yeah, overall pound USD is a sell rating for us. In fact, a strong sell rating. And if we take a look at the EdgeFinder, basically what we've got is sells in almost every category. The only place that the UK outperforms the US right now, at least on the metrics that we track here, is in the GDP department. Everywhere else is favoring buying the US dollar and selling the GBP. So we'll keep tabs on that. Should be a very interesting one to watch going into the news release. And yeah, just a real quick reminder, if you are looking at the EdgeFinder and you would like to try out the tool, there is a way to actually try it out 100% for free. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link right now in the chat to send a message to Drew. Here is his Telegram channel. If you have Telegram and you would like to shoot us a message, just shoot us a message and we'll actually get you this for free to try out for the day, especially on a day like today. This is a great day to jump in and get access to it. The EdgeFinder is available. We'll just drop the link there. There it is. Grab that link in the chat, click that, send a message to us. Just send the word like EdgeFinder and we'll get you a free copy. Drew will help you out with that. So yeah, looking at GU, again, retest sells would be my interest. I can't really sell right here because again, I need that pullback to give us a higher probability setup. And that's kind of where we're at with it. So yeah, we'll keep tabs on that. We'll continue to monitor GBP USD. The next one I want to look at with you guys is dollar yen. So dollar yen, I actually do like this thing long, but we've kind of entered into a choppiness and we never hit our alert signal right here. We came down, we never quite got back down to that area. So there was no potential entry there. But now reevaluating things, what we kind of have here is if we're highlighting some horizontal levels, we've got some resistance overhead that I think could be interesting on the news. If we get a break, we'll actually go ahead and delete this, by the way. Let's remove that. No longer want that. There we go. So dollar yen, again, I like this thing long. I would like to buy dollar yen in one of two scenarios. Let me go ahead and full screen here. So dollar yen, one of two scenarios. Number one would be a breakout higher on the news or perhaps tomorrow's news, strength there, looking for any sort of pullback, right? For continuation plays. Simple move. I would say this is one of the more straightforward opportunities in the market right now, in my personal opinion, is looking to be long dollar and short yen overall. One of my favorite pairs. I've done very, very well on dollar yen over time. It's been one of my bigger winners. Quinn says, I use the EdgeFinder every day. It's a game changer. Quinn, that's awesome to hear. We've got a lot of people using it. A lot of people signed up for our free trial with it. A lot of people have been trying it out and using that information. So It's been awesome. So let's take a look at the reading on UJ, by the way, see what's going on with the dollar yen here with this one in mind when taking a look at the dollar yen. So let's look at some sentiment. Okay, looking at the dollar yen, this is one that caught my eye here. 77% of retail traders are actually short on dollar yen. So as this thing continues to trail higher, as the trend is very strong and people are making their money on the long side, the shorts just keep trying to sell this thing as it rallies and rallies and rallies. So with that in mind, knowing that the EdgeFinder is showing us, okay, retail sentiment, everyone is short, the crowd is very little long, that's kind of nice because then when you pair that with the commitment of traders report right here, this is your banks, okay? So the banks are doing what? Well, banks, hedge funds, anyone who falls into the category of non-commercial institutional investor here in the United States. The US dollar is committed to much higher levels of long percentage, whereas the yen, simply going with what we see from institutional data, is very short biased. Okay, so when we take that into consideration, those are two things that we just looked at. This is the whole point behind the EdgeFinder. This is why our software tool, I think, has been very popular among people who are using it. We take all these simple metrics that we can all see, and instead of having to go look at 30 different websites to go get this information, we all compile it into this tool so that we can then get an idea of what's going on. COT data evaluated at a +2. It gets a +2 in the category. Commitment of traders report data has been that is factored in now. Then we have the retail sentiment. No, the crowd is super short on this. Let's consider being more on the long side. That's a +1 category, right? Then you look at seasonality. The month of June, typically a positive month for dollar yen. Not by much, but by a little bit. And we take into all these things. And again, this is the result of a lot of money invested to build these software tools, to build the systems around this. So take advantage, get it for free today. Again, drop it one more time. Try it out today. I'm telling you guys, even if you don't buy it, I don't care at all, but I would love to get your feedback. And if you send a message to Drew, his chat is right there in the chat. If you use this link and you send Drew a message with the word EdgeFinder, he'll get you set up for free to try it out. And the reason we're doing that is because we want you to, number one, check it out and see how awesome it is. But number two, let us know what we can improve, because we are trying to build this tool to be the best software for traders out there. Now, we have about 15 minutes until the news. So let's continue to take a look at some pairs. Again, dollar yen has a long bias for me based on the software that we just looked at. So I'm looking at dollar yen predominantly looking for long setups. If we get pullback setups, then yeah, I'm looking for more upside on the pair, especially on a break and retest of major structure levels. To be fair, I might still be interested in buying the dollar yen if we double back and retest these lows on the news, especially ahead of the Fed meeting on Wednesday. So yeah, there we go. Okay. EdgeFinder, do you trade binary indices? I don't trade binary. I personally don't really love adding. So here's the thing I don't love about options in a single, very quick answer. I don't love trading options because when I look at options, options adds another layer to the difficulty of trading, in my opinion. When you look at trading, you have to know when to buy, and you know what price, why you're entering, all that sort of stuff. But things can go sideways on you, right? So when you trade options, when you buy a call, as things go sideways, your value of your option goes down. And I hate that, because here's the thing, right? It adds another dimension to your trading, which is time. And time is working against you if you're buying options and working for you if you're selling options. But I think that just adds another level of complexity. I know people who are great with options. I'm not saying you can't be good with options. It's just not for me. Taking a look at gold here for a second. So gold, still looking very weak on the fundamental, or not on the fundamental, on the technical side here. We broke underneath structure here. And with such a hawkish Fed right now, the dollar strength is really just showing. Look at this retest. As soon as price shot back up, found sellers in that area and dropped back on down. Question will be on the news if we can break through the daily low, which was down here at 1811, just 1812, let's call it. If we can break underneath that, we'll be watching to see if we can head back down to retest the previous lows, which bring us all the way down to 1795. Crazy figures there. But yeah. Thank you, Ivan. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about the EdgeFinder, please feel free to use the link there. We'll drop it one more time just so you have it. So there it is. If you'd like to send a message to Drew about the EdgeFinder, he'll hook you up. He is a specialist with the tool and also knows how to get people added and manage their access and that sort of thing. So that's why we have Drew help us out with the free trials. Yeah, so gold, man, I would like gold to get a rally. I'm bullish on gold. I'll be the first one to admit painfully that I would like gold to rally, but we're just not seeing it. And I have a longer term gold position that I picked up yesterday, not as a trade, but as a 1 year plus investment. I think that with potential unemployment rises around the corner, that's my personal opinion based on everything that I'm seeing, that could lean towards a rally in gold at some point, maybe this year, maybe next year. We'll see. I mean, I think this year, but we'll see. Anyways, we had a really big rejection on gold, really big fail. I mean, this was just terrible for the gold bulls. I was looking, and I'm saying that like I'm not teasing anybody because I was looking for bullish setups. I did get a bullish setup, but I got it down here. So for an investment, that's fine. But from a trading perspective, I was looking for this level to break this week, to close outside, and any retest, I was going to buy gold. That was my plan. You can go watch my Sunday video. I said that. I said, I'm buying gold if that happens. It didn't happen though. So I didn't get any sort of breakout close above, right? And this is why, it's very careful. You have to be very careful when you see a big level of resistance come into play, that you don't get overly optimistic and just say, oh, I'm going to buy here because I think it's going to break out. Because a lot of times you don't see the breakout. A lot of times there's one more grab before the market, rallies back down the other way. So will gold have its day? It will at some point. But right now we are seeing rejection. We are seeing sell pressure. Market structure looks weak for gold. And it does seem like it's not out of the question to see a rally back down to the previous low to retest to see if there are still buyers in that area. So yeah. Ivan's the next Michael Jackson. I would agree with that. He's always wearing his sunglasses. It's cool. It's very creative, right? How will the US PPI numbers affect GJ, Eurodollar, and gold? GJ will probably just react to risk sentiment. If markets are fearful, GJ will probably drop. Eurodollar and gold are going to do the same thing most likely. If the dollar is strong on the news, if we get very high numbers that are going to prompt the Fed to potentially raise the rate to by 75 basis points, that's going to cause the dollar to rally. And we're going to watch that here live. We've got just over 10 minutes to discuss this and see kind of what happens with the news spike. And until then, we'll be talking setups. So yeah, gold breaking underneath the lows here. Any retest to me on the lower time frames just looks weak. As much as I don't want it to be, these retest sells made a lot of sense. And again, the reason I say I don't want it to be is because I'm looking for a longer term breakout to the upside, but we haven't seen it. Anyone buying UJ ahead of the news, says Anonymous Souls. Anonymous Souls, I talked about UJ a little bit, but I want to come back to it for a second. So I mentioned that my favorite setup on UJ would be to see what happens after the news. If we get a break, if we get a retest, any sort of pullback opportunities, I would be bullish on. Where we currently sit, I mean, we're just waiting. We have to see, because I don't know what the news is going to be. We could have PPI numbers that sort of lean towards a dollar bearish move. For example, if PPI numbers come out as not as concerning, then hey, maybe the 75 basis point thing will be off the table or less likely, in which case that could be a big thing. Is there a video describing how the EdgeFinder works? Dr. Michael, thank you for that message. I'm going to drop a link to my associate, Drew. I'll give you guys some backstory behind the EdgeFinder. We have like 4 people building that tool. We have myself, which I'm kind of like directing like what we're building, like why we're building what, how we're metric. And then we have an actual software developer. Then we have another trader in the house here, Frank, who is doing some analysis with it. He's using it every day and giving me feedback on stuff. And then, of course, we have Drew, who is Drew and Emily. I guess there's 5 or 6 of us really that are working with people, getting their feedback, offering them free trials, that sort of thing. So again, if you have any questions about the EdgeFinder and you would like to know more, then please use this link, send a message to Drew. He's sort of our one-stop contact for the EdgeFinder if you have any questions. I'm crying about GU. Don't cry. It's going to be fine. We're okay here. I mean, it's ugly, but I'm still short biased here, unfortunately. GU, see the thing, well, not unfortunately. I'm short biased on a retest. And I don't want to rub salt in the wound because it sounds like you're long, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I think GU, until further notice, is still a sell. I understand that sometimes people will watch my streams and they'll be like, I don't want to hear Nick say that because I'm long or whatever. And it just keeps going down. But let me just tell you guys just a little bit of a hindsight on my side story. Here's the thing. We see this happen so often, you guys, that I have to talk about it on the stream to give you guys the scoop. What we usually see is that when a market trends down like this, retail traders on average, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, they generally are buying this. And that's just because, and I've been there, right? I've looked at this and I've been like, wow, this thing's low. I got to buy it so I get a good discount. Buy low, it's discounted. Buy low, it's discounted. Buy low, it's discounted. Buy low, it's discounted. The problem is, right? Trends can go for a very, very long time. And right now, 86% of the crowd that loses money, is buying and praying that GU goes back up. And the problem with that is that so often it doesn't. It just keeps running their stops and taking the money away. And so that is why we generally are not looking to buy a market like this. We are looking to go with the flow. And that's something that we focus on very heavily within our trading, momentum trading, going with the flow, as well as what we incorporate in our software for what we look for. This software is it's the conglomerate of a lot of years of work between myself and Frank, who are kind of directing the direction with this tool. But yeah, sentiment is very important, because if you know that the crowd is caught up in a long trade, you've got to be very careful that you're not sitting there begging the market to turn around, because when it doesn't, it gets ugly, right? It can just keep going against you, especially if you don't have a stop loss on that trade. It's really, really rough. So let's keep talking about some more pairs here prior to the news. We have about 7 minutes until the actual news. Lofty says, let's talk about NASDAQ. Yeah, let's talk about NASDAQ. What's going on with NAS 100 here this morning? Trying and praying and hoping and crying that we can find a bottom here. Man, stocks, you guys want to know a stat? I'll just tell you guys some cool numbers. Okay. So I trade Forex with some of my money, and I invest/trade stocks with some of my money. At the peak, I think I was up about $150,000 just on the stocks for 2021. Now I'm only up $50,000. Think about this. I guess I should, I don't know. I think I should do a clickbait video about this. At some point, I guess at one point, I am down from my peak ever performance on my stock investing. I guess I'm down probably $90,000 to $100,000. I'm not actually down because it's house money, right? Because it's investments it's unrealized gains, all of it. But at one point I was up 150 or something like that. It's off the top of my head, and has come down all the way down to like 50 up. And of course I'm still up. So I'm thankful that I'm still up. But the reason I point this out to you guys is that this is the reality of markets. Markets are horribly aggressive and unforgiving to people who are overly leveraged and over risking. I'm still up 50, but I very well could and potentially could go negative if the market continues to drop. It would have to take a lot further down to go lower. But let me just give you a little bit of perspective on that too. I'm in a very fortunate situation in which I can still continue to deposit money into stocks. I can deposit money into my currency trading and build positions and not really worry too much. I'm not like on the edge of bankruptcy with that. Like I said, I'm very fortunate to be able to continue to have cash flow and to continue to invest in stocks. But the reason I point that out is that, you guys, if that was like every cent that I owned, that's a lot of people in the United States right now. That's a lot of people worldwide right now. People who took everything that they had in excess, and they put their money in the stock market. They put their money in, and then now look what's happened to people, you guys. Look at this. And we're going into PPI numbers in a few minutes, which could cause some volatility on the stock market as well. But look at this, you guys. If you bought tech stocks right around here, if you put your life savings, let's say you had, to $100,000. If you put $100,000 into the stock market, you are now down to 68,000. Is that right? 30. Yep, 70, 2 extra, 68. You're at $68,000 if you put all your money in the NASDAQ. And that, you guys, is assuming that you bought the index. If you didn't buy the index, if you bought individual stocks, for example, if you put your $100,000 in PayPal, man, PayPal, let's just say they money serviced your butt. It's down 76%. Right. So these markets, you guys, it doesn't matter if you're trading currencies. It doesn't matter if you're trading stocks. They're all the same. They are all the same. They are human emotion in the form of price charts. And when we look at this and we look at the decimation of some of the stocks out there, man, it's crazy. So we go back to NAS 100, back to our more trading perspective here for a second. This thing is just bearish. It's just so ugly out there. And until it shows signs of bullishness, there's just no life here. Every single little bit of rally gets sold into. And I'm not saying that to be depressing. I'm telling you that that's what the traders out there are observing. Traders have been making money shorting this thing. They've been making money riding and holding on to winners there. Whereas investors have had a really rough year. That includes myself. I'm not super active trading the S&P, the NASDAQ. I do trade it sometimes on my stock portfolio, but not super often. Any rallies, where we start breaking out, yeah, we may see a nice relief rally, and that could be something to look out for. But right now we have sunk back down to new lows. It has been an impressively scary moment in time for myself as a trader. Trader Nick is daddy. That's a new one. Ivan, you're freaking me out right now. Nick, in order to know when to get out, I'm the coach here, and I would not allow you to buy GU in a downtrend. Thanks, Ivan, for looking out in the chat. Guys, Ivan is one of our head coaches and head traders here at A1 Trading. He's a character. He is a character, but he's also a very smart guy and a great trader. So take his word for what it's worth. Okay, so guys, we've got a few minutes here. We've got 2 minutes here before the news until we are going to be taking a look at some of the movements here. PPI numbers coming out again in just about 2 minutes. Let's set up our charts so that we can watch this together. You guys don't go anywhere. We've got to see this reaction here together. What we'll do here is we'll set up our charts with just a minute or so to go. Let's put up Usdjpy. Comment what you guys want to see on the screen as we watch the news. Comment right now. Spam the chat with what you would like to see, and I'll try and get some set up. Dollar yen has to be one. Gold has to be one. I'm saying that because, again, these are the popular ones. This is what I know people will want to see off the top of my head. And let's switch this to, we'll switch it to a 15-minute chart. We'll zoom in so we can see what happens here. Again, we got 1 minute here, so let's get these charts set up. We'll go to the 15-minute chart on this one, make sure that's plugged in. We're going to watch the spike together because it'll be fun, and we can see if there's a spike. But again, a lot of pressure going in. What are you guys saying? What do we want? We want GU? Okay. Yeah. We'll do pound dollar, and then euro dollar seems like another one. So we'll do GBP USD. Again, we'll do the 15-minute chart. We're going to watch the spike together, you guys, to see what happens on this PPI news release here. And remember to smash that thumbs up button as we get into the news. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Okay. Yep, 30 seconds now, you guys. You're probably a little bit delayed, but very close to 30 seconds away. We will see what happens with PPI numbers here today, and then we'll dive into some quick ideas off of the news itself. Gold coming up a little bit, dollar yen coming down just a bit here prior to the news, and we've got just about 10 seconds to go, and we'll see what happens. So UJ is up here. You got gold, pound dollar, euro dollar. Let's see what happens together, you guys, and see what we get out of this. Here we go. All right, and the numbers are coming out. Any sort of reaction here on the news? We see the pound dollar coming up a little bit. Guys, do me a favor. If you have numbers, please drop them in the chat for us. If you have PPI numbers pulled up for us, that would be awesome. Anybody who's got them, please feel free to drop. We're seeing Euro USD react positively. We see the pound dollar coming up here from the lows a little bit. 8.3%. Okay, 8.3%. It's bad. Is it bad? Let's look. And the numbers are out. Let's see. Okay, so PPI came out at 0.8% as expected. Core PPI numbers came out at 0.5%, which is lower than expected. Okay. I mean, that's for dollar bulls, it's not great, but for the rest of people, it's not so bad. So, okay, pound dollar, a little bit of reaction. Now, I want to talk about this in context to what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the Wednesday report, which is going to be big, right? You have the big Fed meeting, and all these numbers. The reason that these matter is because going into that report, we're trying to weigh whether or not that 75 basis point is coming down the pipeline. We had 8.6% year over year inflation here in the United States. That's a big deal, and the Fed is really toned in on that. So when we look at these numbers coming out today and we see, the euro dollar popping up, the pound dollar, what that is potentially just a slight reduction in the chance of a 75 basis point raise. Again, we will have to wait till that comes out tomorrow. We will be streaming that, of course, very, very important. But 8.3% as compared to the 8.6% expected. Thank you, Ivan. Okay. Yeah. So a little bit of a bullish relief here for the pound USD, the euro USD, dollar yen coming down a little bit, and gold popping here to the upside. So there's your reaction to it a little bit, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And what I'm going to do here right now is we mentioned the EdgeFinder. If you guys want to get access to it, again, we'll drop the link one more time to send a message to Drew. For those of you guys who are caught up in the stream, if you would like to, feel free to shoot him a message. The link is in the chat right now for you. So grab that, click that link, send him a message if you want access today for free. It's available right now. Guys, that's going to wrap up the stream. Thank you for watching with me. And we will be back with more coverage here pretty soon on what's going into the Fed meeting tomorrow. We've got more content planned to help you guys out and keep you guys up to speed. So remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I go live. And with that said, thank you guys very much. If you're an aspiring technical day trader or swing trader when it comes to Forex, we've got something cool completely free for you. We're going to be handing out our technical analysis handbook, which comes with tons of strategies, techniques, entries, exits for you to check out and to try in your trading on a demo account to see if they work for you. All you have to do is use the link down below in the description. Send the word handbook to our team on Telegram and we'll send you a free copy. Again, all you got to do, swipe up, send the word handbook to our team and we'll send you a copy of our technical analysis handbook completely free.